up next, Mini Mealtimes with Marie. Take it away, Marie. I think she's there. You there, Marie?
Can everyone hear me?
There you are. Yes.
Here I am. Okay. I'm going to restart my timer. Hello. So my name is Marie Farmer, and I'm the founder of Mini Mealtimes, a family nutrition app that aims to work like a dietitian in every parent's pocket to make mealtimes easier. And our vision is to positively impact the rates of adolescent nutrition globally. And so, next slide, please. So I had this problem because I have a child and I was so focused on making sure his nutrition was perfectly balanced. You know, I was the typical first-time parent. And I realized there's millions of me across the world. But I also realized through countless hours of research that nutrition labels on food packaging are not calculated for the most part for children. They're calculated for the adult male. So for children whose nutritional needs change constantly, this is really confusing for parents. And it means, and it has contributed to the record levels of obesity and malnutrition across the country. There are other people and companies who are also working on this problem, but they are expensive and generic and judgmental, which doesn't actually solve the problem. Next slide, please. So how are we doing it? We've decided to create an app, and I'll talk about my team in a minute. And we have created an algorithm that generates reliable nutrition reports for parents. When they scan a product or type in an ingredient, it creates recommendations specific to their child, which allows parents to get a much more accurate idea about their children's nutritional needs and health and eating habits. Next slide, please. So our revenue model is pretty simple. We want to do a freemium version because we want to make nutrition labels accessible to everyone. So the bulk of the app will be free, but we are planning to introduce additional features in the coming months that will be behind a paywall. But we're really excited because our early users seem to really love the app, and they're very honest with their feedback about what they like and what they don't like. And so early indicators say that we're onto a winner. Next slide, please. Our team is made up of a bunch of passionate individuals who I absolutely love working with, who are experts in their very specific field, and they are super excited, and we're really sad that they couldn't be here this evening, but everyone is just as passionate as each other working on the app.
20 seconds.
Last slide, please. Next slide, please. So where are we today? We are thinking about the future. We're fundraising so that we can fund the features that I mentioned, so that we can fund our ambitions, basically, about where Mini Mealtimes can go. And thank you for listening to this presentation. I've been Marie Farmer, founder of Mini Mealtimes.
Perfect.
Marie, thank you. That was fantastic. I love the diversity of all these. You guys don't even know the in attendance, the next three coming up, but I love the diversity in all of these new companies. We have a 4-minute question and answer period right now. And Marie, I'm going to send it over to you.
Any of our judges want to go first?
I'll jump in. So you talked about app retention rates. Do you mind sharing, and no user acquisition costs? Do you mind sharing an estimate of how many users you have, and that retention rate of 35%? Is that your 30-day, 60-day, or 90-day for your app retention?
So we average that out monthly, and so we have about 400 active users.
Thanks.
Hi. So I'd love to know, in terms of like taking a step back and getting a little bit high level, what's the strategy long term? How are you looking to monetize off of this in the future? Is it going to be B2B partnerships? You know, what are you thinking?
Yeah, so we're thinking we want to start introducing one-to-one video consultations and potentially in-person ones when that's allowed, as kind of an upsell to the small amount of parents that will be able to afford it that currently use the app. And then we are talking to different food brands to do partnerships so they'll be able to promote their healthy alternatives within the app, going into schools and community centers and nurseries to be able to promote the app. And that's something that we're doing at the moment.
Gotcha. And then lastly, would love to know who your competitors are and what does the competitive landscape look like?
So the competitive landscape, we're pretty good. I feel like we've hit on something in the market that a lot of people haven't picked up on. So of course there are a ton of weaning and recipe apps, like that market is completely saturated. But what we have picked up on is that there is a need for personal and high quality nutrition information, advice that parents really need, and that is not being provided because previously it was too complicated and expensive to action. And that's what we've done, but we've made it affordable and accessible.
I'm going to take one question from the audience from Anne Sullivan. Can you support type 1 diabetic children?
Not currently. The first version of the app, I will admit, is limited in scope in terms of the recommendations because it's the first version, but we have ambitions for people with dietary needs, people with any kind of medical needs, and that's something that we really want to do, and that's part of the reason why we're fundraising, so we can fund those features that parents and people like you are asking about.
Harold, you had another question?
Yeah, I had a quick question about the algorithm that you referenced. Is that a data set? You said you scraped a lot of data. Is this essentially you're scanning the barcode of a package? If I'm a parent and I'm shopping, I scan the package and I'm somehow using data that you all pulled together? Or is that an algorithm you've created? And if so, how many data points have you used to get to this point?
The answer is both. So we've plugged into a database that has, foods, the way you would use the barcode information. We've also pulled in databases about the specific nutrition recommendations for each age range. So there's a lot of data points that we have to factor in before the parent will see that result, but we factor in height, weight, age, gender, physical activity, and we're going to be tweaking that as we go along. It might even, ethnicity might even come into play, water levels, like mood as well. There's so many different data sets that we kind of continue, and it's always important to us that we keep updating it and looking back at our data to make sure it's reliable and as up to date as possible.
Unfortunately, that's all the questions we can take. Please feel free to message Marie Framer, not Marie Roca, with your questions. And again, feel free to follow up as well. I think, would you mind repeating your website? I don't know where I wrote it down, Marie.
It's minimealtimes.com.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening, everyone. I'm going to mute myself.